What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Dark Rabbit, Dark Mouse, you're up.
Kanzis summoned mystic creatures to match Kumara's. Now she couldn't even hide her astonishment.
No.
Oh, surprised? But then again, so am I. I never thought a kid like you could ever summon three-tailed beasts at once. Claimant must have trained you very well.
Kanzis's tone of voice indicated he still thought of Kumara as a fool. He couldn't have been more confident, and there was a reason for that. The magical beasts he summoned were stronger than the 8 at Kumara's disposal.
But enough of this. Let's end the playtime here, shall we?
With that, Kanzis added more creatures.
No, the Dark Tiger, and the Dark Snake too.
Each one of Kanzis's dark summons was stronger than the equivalent from Kumara. It was no wonder. These were, after all, the loyal bodyguards of the previous 9-head, Kumara's own mother. A single tail beast was incredibly powerful, and now there were 5. Their formerly calm, gentle temperaments were gone. Their maniacal instincts were fully unleashed. At this point, Kanzis thought he had as good as one. No matter how much that fox kit Kumara had grown, he assumed that 3 tail beasts at once was about the best she could do. Even her own mother maxed out at controlling 5 at once, and she was a fox spirit who had lived for thousands of years. How could Kumara, with only centuries to her lifespan, ever produce that much force? That's why he felt safe in his arrogance.
If you want, I'd be happy to keep you as my pet now. You're cordially invited to switch sides, from the Demon Lord Rimuru to me. Do it, and I'll spare your life.
It was more of an order than a negotiation, one based on the absolute certainty of his own victory. But that was a fatal mistake. Kumara was furious, her smile growing ever deeper and ever more beautiful.
How amusing. If you've made me this angry, you must have come prepared for the consequences, didn't you?
No answer was needed. Kumara immediately unleashed all her tail beasts at once, producing the full array of 8. The Thunder Tiger, Winged Snake, Sleeping Ram, Firebird, and Mirror Dog came out, completing the entire ensemble.
What? 8 of them? You?
It was the first time all day Kanzis demonstrated any alarm, but even then, it was only for a moment. Quickly regaining his composure, he flashed a fearless smile.
Well, I commend you for your surprising growth, but we still have the strength advantage.
Silence.
Oh, scary. In that case, I'll say no more then. In fact, the next thing I'll do is strip you limb from limb. You'll make lovely decorations for my room.
The negotiations were over, and so the battle of 8 against 5 began. Although Kumara's ensemble had the numerical advantage, their opponents were elites who had served her own predecessor for untold numbers of years. The sheer amount of magicule energy inside them was unparalleled, as was their experience. The white monkey and its friends were far from weaklings, but their dark counterparts were more than powerful enough to counteract being outnumbered. As time went on, Kumara's beasts began to be pushed back. But she didn't give up. And some careful observation of Kanzis revealed something. Each of the magic beasts Kanzis summoned was quite powerful solo, and while they had fully lost their memories, they still seemed to retain their sense of reason, reacting quickly to Kanzis's instructions. In other words, if she could beat their commander in Kanzis, that might give Kumara a chance to win. Besides, she still had one more trick up her sleeve. Once she brought all 8 tail beasts back to herself, she could take her true form, and by her judgment, that'd give her the edge of Kanzis and his team. It was thus with little to no panic that Kumara carefully judged her situation. What about Kanzis? Although it looked like he was on top of his game, he was actually pretty close to the edge of his limits. There was a good reason why he was commanding all these dark beasts. He had a secret power as well, the unique skill looter. This skill had no power on its own, it required something to build on. Kanzis first stumbled upon it as a child. He had gotten into a fight with a friend over some petty issue, and to get back at him, he killed his friend's pet dog. After that, he was able to summon a dark incarnation of the dog anytime he wanted. That alone was only slightly useful in a fight, but the true value of looter actually lay elsewhere. He discovered it not long after he joined the army, fighting against guerrillas on the Empire's far-flung frontiers. Whenever he killed one of them, he was able to summon darkness, just as powerful as his victims. That's when it dawned on him, he could only call upon those he killed by his own hand. The more he killed, then, the stronger he got. But there were limits. This wasn't a cumulative deal, where you were as strong as everyone you killed in your life. It only let you tap the dark powers of the greatest adversary you ever took down. It let him perfectly recreate the appearance and skills of his victim, a versatile trait, useful for disguising himself in undercover missions. But even then, there was only so much darkness Kanzis could handle summoning at once. If there wasn't, he could likely control entire armies by himself, but sadly Looter was apparently too dependent on Kanzis's own life force for that. Kumara had accurately guessed that was the case, and even with her current disadvantage, she was not particularly concerned.
Now I can tell, you've reached your limit, haven't you?
And what if I have?
I don't know how you've taken control of the Dark Ape and the rest, but that's not an issue. I'm going to kill you anyway.
That was her analysis of the situation. Their respective band of servants were evenly matched in strength, but neither of the commanders were in the fray. If Kumara took on Kanzis then and there, he wouldn't be able to give orders to his dark creatures, and in terms of magicule energy, Kumara far outclassed him.
Don't worry, now. I'm not going to make this easy for you.
Upon saying that, Kumara disappeared, only to instantly reappear behind Kanzis's back. Then she swiped at him, attempting to slash his neck with her claws. Kanzis reacted in time, privately admitting she was right but still maintaining his detached attitude.
You sure are scary, huh? If you were going to grow this much, I should have killed you 20 years ago.
Silence.
Now, don't be so angry. To make up for it, why don't I show you something real interesting?
Kanzis laughed at her. It was true that his looter skill could summon only those he had killed, and there were limits both to who it summoned and how much of its power Kanzis could personally tap. But there was still one more trick to it, and without a moment's hesitation, he revealed it to Kumara.
Have you ever wondered why I sold you to Clayman? Why I let go of you despite how much of a powerful asset I knew you'd be? Well,
it was because he had already gained immense power, far more easily than he ever would trying to tame and raise Kumara. Banishing his dark beasts, Kanzis summoned a single large beast in their place. This creature was the source of his strength, the reason he didn't need Kumara at all.
That figure. Mother.
Before her was a dark fox spirit bearing 5 thick tails and 4 thinner ones. She was the master of the mystic village, but she looked so ominous now, the kind of visage she had throughout her life gone without a trace.
You guessed it. It's your mother. And now that she's under my command, she's able to handle and unleash all her violent forces with abandon. It's amazing. Wouldn't you like to see it?
Kumara's mother possessed a gentle nature that caused her to show mercy to her foes, an act of charity that came back to bite her. Even with the powers of a demon lord, she chose a modest life hidden away from the world, interacting with it only when absolutely necessary. That was Kumara's predecessor, and now, by the hand of Kanzis, she was going to unleash her true powers.
So you dare to make a mockery of the dead, too?
Not mockery. Respect. I'm going to put her powers to good use. You should thank me for it.
The Dark Nine head summoned by Kanzis flared with rage as it saw Kumara. There was no emotion in its eyes. Kumara was merely the enemy, nothing else.
Mother.
Kill her.
Heeding the order, Nine Head went on the move. The next moment, the full force of the combined dark beasts lashed out at Kumara's own team.
Winged snake. Mirror dog.
The two that reacted a moment too late were seriously injured by the blow, returning to Kumara in tail form. That's how powerful it was. Her group clearly didn't stand a chance.
What do you think? Pretty neat, huh? And that power is exactly why I never needed you. But looking at the number of tails you have, you might even be better than your mother. You may lack experience still, but I can help you make up for it. Hehehe. Now I'm glad I kept you alive. If I can obtain you here, I'll have even more power in my hands.
Kanzis rejoiced. Defeat wasn't even a concept in his mind. With an ally as strong as Nine Head and his own augmented body, there was no way he could lose to a little fox, he was convinced of it. In fact, he even considered Clayman to be beneath him. Kanzis had planned to dispatch him once he fully tapped Nine Head's powers, but then the newcomer Demon Lord Rimuru went and killed him first. Maybe, Kanzis joked to himself, Clayman wasn't any great shakes after all. But Kumara had just revealed she could wrangle 8 tail beasts at once. And while their inexperience made it hard for them to beat anyone alone, with time and maturity, there was no telling what they could accomplish. And that's why I'm so lucky. I'm going to kill this girl here, and then I'll douse her in my own power. That, in turn, would power up Kanzis even further, and some upstart demon lord shouldn't be any kind of match for that. With that thought driving his imagination, he began his attack. Kumara, just standing there, shook her head and muttered to herself.
If I lose my cool, I lose it all, is how it went. I must have forgotten Lady Hinata's lesson.
Then she looked at the man and beast slowly approaching her.
Everyone, fall back.
Answering the call, her tail beasts vanished into balls of light that were sucked back into her. Then her 9 tails began to glow with a mesmerizing radiance. The man and his beast were already just in front of her, but Kumara was in no hurry. Her tail beasts might be inexperienced, that much she was willing to admit. But she herself was not. She had an excellent teacher, along with a hard-working group of diligent friends. It was a wonderful environment for Kumara, and it had done wonders to refine her. Kumara gently stopped the sharpened claws and well-honed knife approaching her with both hands.
You?
I haven't given you my name yet, have I? I am Kumara.
You have a name.
9-head Kumara.
The claws shattered, the knife snapped in two. Hurriedly, Kanzis reared back as Kumara gave him her bewitching smile.
But no need to remember it. I was going to give you a slow and gruesome death, but that would too much for us to bear. So...
Before she could finish her words, the dark beast crumbled to pieces. Kumara's hands had torn the previous 9-head limb from limb.
You're kidding.
The astonishing scene made Kanzis yelp. The greatest tool in his arsenal was vanishing before his eyes. Unlike a traditional summon, Kanzis's looter skill merely formed darkness, using a corpse as a base. As a result, once he lost a beast like this, he could never recall it again. He had looted her, and now Kumara had just taken her back.
You?
If I was stronger, perhaps we could have tormented you more. But alas, it ends here.
Wait.
She had no more patience to listen to Kanzis's nonsense. His pleas fell on deaf ears.
Farewell.
And with that final word, Kanzis's lifespan came to a close. Kumara's 9-tail slash commenced, ripping through him from all directions, and he was cut to shreds and killed in a heartbeat. This was Kumara, a woman with ravishing beauty and a ruthless, tough-as-nails will. While she may have longed for what she lost, she had no lingering regrets. Death, she understood, was death, something that could never be taken back. And that was exactly why she had to be sure nothing more was taken from her. The mystic village was gone forever, but now Kumara had a home to return to. And in this moment, the most important thing was that she stepped up to keep from losing that as well.
I wanted to give you all a chance at revenge. But you will have to forgive me.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel.
Shout out to the new members of AnimeKouhai supporters: Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Stabby Cakes, Alex Yamashita, Purple Derpington, Kevin Matthew, Jovan Ray Hadrake, Totally Not the Police, Nick Adams, Pratik Bandari. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.